On my Facebook, when I was posting about this film, I said it was our found footage number 67464356357. I don't. I'd have to see commas to know how big that number is, but I think it's like
It's accurate.
6 billion. Six. It feels about accurate. It feels about accurate.
6 billion.
We've watched so many in a row now, and somehow I'm not burnt out on them yet.
No.
So Specter.
Yeah.
This was recommended by someone in our comments, as were a lot of these. So thank you to whoever recommended this one. This is a very interesting movie. I'd never heard of it in my entire life. It is on Tubi. Shockingly, right? And I want to say this right off the bat because I think this is the most important thing. This movie is pretty kick-ass, but man, does it suffer from its filming choice. When I say filming choice, I do not mean the found footage style. It is the film stock or editing that they did in post, if they did color corrections or color grading or whatever. I don't know what happened with this film, but this is some of the shittiest footage I've ever seen. And it is a shame because this has got to be one of the only films in my memory, if not the only film, where the biggest knock on the film production budget wise seems to be the footage, the stock, the film stock that they used. I know they're not actually using film stock, they're using digital, but it's crazy to me because I don't know how they made this movie. I don't know what the game plan was here. I don't know what happened because this is shot during like a hurricane and there's all this flooding and everything. And these guys must have planned this in advance. They knew it, a flood was going to come or whatever through their city. They were going to have a lot of natural disasters going on around them. And they got some incredible footage of them getting boats in the harbor being thrown around. And they're there. So they're there around it. It's not stock footage that they just got. It's like people handheld. Now, could it be? I think the kids are in the shot though, like a lot of them.
Not everyone. I mean, I know that that footage of the boats. I don't think that they're in the shot for that. So, because that's what I was.
They could have just used people's.
Yeah, I was speculating that they had footage that they found, but it could be either. Either way though, we were really impressed because it gives this it feels like a big budget film.
Sure as hell
It feels
does.
like the whole town is involved, and also somehow they can control the weather and got it to be it feels very planned, which is cool. And I agree with you. I think that the quality of the film is like the biggest downside to it because the acting from everybody feels really genuine. There's a scene where some people are having a party and the way that they're acting and what they're doing, it just feels so genuine and like real people. And then, what happens throughout the film is really cool. There's some very eerie and creepy just like scenes where you're like, what is that? What's going on?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of distortion with the video to the point, for at least us, where it was taking us out of the film and it was annoying to watch it. Which, we obviously are watching all of these, found footage type films, and it's expected that there will be some distortion in the footage because that kind of gives it that realistic feel.
Not this bad,
but this
though.
felt a little bit overkill for us at least.
Yeah, it just made it hard to see what was going
Yes.
on, and it's just so ugly to look at. It is hard to pay attention to, but the film just has this scale to it for being a film that probably has no budget at all. They were able to get this big budget feel out of it despite its horrendous looking video quality. And we're not talking I'm not talking like VHS quality here. When I say VHS, I mean the movie, not the the tapes. I'm talking about how that looks like it's poor quality on purpose, and they downgrade the look of the film to give it that VHS aesthetic, so it's kind of like nostalgic and whatever. This just looks like garbage. I don't know what this is, but it is terrible looking. It's not pleasant in any way. It's not appealing in any way. It's not cool because it's nostalgic. It's not any of that stuff. It's a dreadful looking movie. So that's a shame because there's some really cool sets that they found or locations that they found. They don't have any sets. I'm sure they have 2 cents. But somehow they were able to have these really cool filming locations.
Yes.
And we're able to catch such great footage of a natural disaster going on around them to get this whole feeling that this town is in peril. For an entire city block to be, empty, and for them to film this big scene on it with beings showing up all around them and stuff like that. You're like, whoa, this film feels big. This feels like it has a budget. But the film quality made it feel like it was made for 10 cents by amateurs who had no idea what the hell they were doing. So it's like they gave the camera to idiots, and then, everyone outside of the camera just knew exactly what they were doing and had a lot of money. It's just really weird.
I do feel that it was intentional, I think. That,
sure.
And some level, maybe it does make it feel more, I don't know, amateurs shot it, which is the idea. But
we've watched enough of these. How many have we watched now?
It is you want to see some things that are being obscured, but it's obscured too much, and it doesn't need to be. So
there's a lot going on in this movie too. You have the threat of natural disasters. You have the threat of this unknown drug that people are putting into themselves. You have this threat of some kind of cosmic horror going on in here as well. And then there's this really cool effect with the moon.
Oh my
and
gosh,
there's this effect of all these random beings. And man, this is
awesome.
A really cool film.
It was really awesome. And sometimes we watch movies and it feels like there's nothing going on or there's too much, but this did not feel convoluted. Everything made sense, and it just gave it this a good kind of chaotic feel to it. Where I think as the viewer, you're just what is it? What's happening? And you see all these possibilities and are trying to figure it out. And the cosmic horror, I'm glad you mentioned, because that was probably the thing that I loved the most about this film, was that they do cosmic horror found footage style. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And as she said, the characters are believable and all of that. And they're also believable in the sense of they're not overly heroic, but they're also not complete douchebags. There's characters that are questionable. Your main character says some stuff about why he moved, and you're like,
Yeah.
And he's acting a certain way, and you're like, is this guy going to be terrible? And then he's not. He's just kind of a person.
Yeah.
And I liked that. So, really cool film. Just really, really wish, if the filmmakers made this in a different style, and that exists, and they decided to edit it this way, to color grade or whatever, please release a different version, because this is a much better film than the one that you put out because of the terrible video quality that this is on. I really do feel I've seen 1,000 found footage films. We watch them all the time. I'm probably not even exaggerating on this number at this time. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of them. This is one of the poorest quality as far as the footage goes I've ever seen, and it does not help the film at all. It does not add a layer of authenticity to me. They could have clearer video than this, right? Maybe they did it to hide some certain thing. I don't know what it was. Then do that stupid distortion, because they do that in here anyway, right? Yeah. So there's no point for any of it. So if you have a better looking version of this film, you should re-release this, because I think it would be much better received, because it's a very cool movie that's obscured by bad footage. So tremendous effort though.
Yeah,
I mean, everything going on outside the camera is incredible.
Yes, all of it's really great. So, and we would definitely recommend checking it out.
Absolutely. So, if you can look past horrendous visuals, as far as just the footage itself, everything outside of it's really cool. So, damn. Yeah. Okay. Broken record. Moving on. Bye.